One Punch Man Season 3. What the fuck happened to it? So One Punch Man is one of the biggest animes of all time, especially for Studio Madhouse, the production team that animated One Punch Man, Death Note, Hunter x Hunter. So they're a pretty big staple in the community. And as you can see of the rating of the first season of One Punch Man, it clearly shows just how well received it is and the quality of work that was put into it. Now this anime had a lot of things going for itself. It had amazing sound design, the animation was incredible, the directing, the storyboarding, everything was a 10 out of 10. So what the hell went wrong? So when the first season of One Punch Man actually ended, they renewed it for a season 2. The entire production team changed, the director changed, and they changed to a studio that was more well known with slice of life anime, and that was JC Staff. So they did Toradora, Golden Time, Toru Index. They did a variety of different shit. So with a whole bunch of different animators, a different director, that means episodes will be storyboarded way differently, which also puts a ton of pressure on those animators, and that creates tight schedules. Now obviously the quality of episodes dropped compared to season 1, and people were super disappointed with how the second season looked because it didn't match the quality that the first season had to offer. But when I saw this shit, I thought this was a super well animated sequence, and I thought that JC Staff did an incredible job. Like the animation for the season was still a lot better than every single seasonal anime that we get, and obviously it wasn't the studio's fault. They also had to redesign everything from scratch. And yeah, I did see some flaws here and there, but it wasn't enough for me to drop the entire series in just one go. Now with season 3 being confirmed, my god, we're getting into the good stuff. Not only did they not reveal the studio for years, with the amount of disappointment that everyone had because of the second season, JC Staff decided to not announce anything, so they kept themselves in the dark for some time. And when they actually did confirm that they would be working on season 3, they would not reveal the rest of the production team that would be involved, specifically the director. A director makes or breaks the anime, and with JC Staff hiding this director for years, people were obviously having a lot of doubt. Honestly, it was either doubt or a fuck ton of unrealistic expectations, and when they started releasing the trailers, people could already tell that this was going to be a disaster of an anime. There were a bunch of static backgrounds. The animation quality looked significantly worse than the second season's did, which had a lot of people concerned for the anime's future. And this was all happening within a 2-month frame of the anime actually airing. And with the quality looking this shit and the director not being announced, my god, this just screamed a production disaster. Like, people already knew that this was going to be over before it had even started. Now finally, they announced the director for season 3 of One Punch Man. Now he directed a lot of normal anime, but also at the same time, most of his experience came from directing hentai. And my fuck, a hentai director on a big series like this? Now I'm gonna be super clear with you guys. I get everyone starts somewhere, but when you really put things into perspective, a hentai director is usually chosen when they know how to cut corners with animation. And now I don't watch any goddamn hentai, like that shit's disgusting. But I think everybody knows that they're super low budget, and directors like him know how to cut corners and save time and money. Obviously, when people heard that, it didn't help at all, and everyone was freaking out, and I actually felt super bad for the director. Before the anime had already been announced, this dude was getting a bunch of death threats. When the anime actually started airing, people noticed that the drawing quality was even better than the first seasons, which is actually immense progress from both seasons that aired. The only problem with that though is that it didn't even fucking move. It was genuine PNGs just sliding across the screen, and when there were action scenes, it was super subpar. I don't know, from the 24 minutes you get from an anime episode, about 2 minutes of those One Punch Man episodes had decent animation. It wasn't even worth praising. So people took that as an opportunity to harass the director, sending him a bunch of death threats, and they were basically just trying to bully him off the platform because he was destroying the anime. The production team was working on a super tight schedule, and I mean, as much as I don't want to blame the director, I do kind of think it was his fault too in some ways, because like the episodes you would see in One Punch Man, the ones that did have movement, they weren't even directed right. It was super flat, and I couldn't even feel the slightest bit of impact in those fights that I was watching. And when you compare the rating to all 3 seasons of One Punch Man, you'll see that season 3 has a rating of 6. That is fucking awful. Honestly, I feel super bad for shitting on the director at the same time, because people were simply just trying to rage bait him every single second of this day, so he was going to delete his Twitter account. Now, I don't know who thought it was a good idea to push such a big project onto a bunch of unexperienced people, and this anime is pretty much like a double-edged sword. The animators and the viewers watching the anime will not be ever satisfied, and like, yeah, they did have like 6 years, and that's a fuck ton of time, especially for the people waiting for the anime. But it was noted that they actually only started working on it about last year. And yeah, I don't think we'll ever get a good One Punch Man season after all. But if you guys did enjoy this YouTube video, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. I am almost at 200,000 subscribers. So with that being said, I hope you guys take care.